Many thanks for joining us again on Business Breakfast right here on iBrandTV. And now to the second conversation of the program. The World Bank on Wednesday, the 3rd of May, confirmed former Chief Executive Officer of MasterCard, Aja Banga, as its next president, handing in the reins at a pivotal time as it looks to reshape its role to better address climate change. Banga, the U.S. candidate who was the sole nominee for the top job, will begin its new role on June the 2nd, taking over from David Malpass, who is stepping down early amid criticism over his stance on climate change. The leadership change comes at a fraught time for the global economy, which has been grappling with a pandemic, inflation, and war in the past 3 years. Those colliding crises have sent millions of people into poverty and reversed decades of developmental progress. Joining me now live from the United Kingdom as we take a critical look at the talks ahead of the new president of the World Bank is a finance and investment advisor, Gbenga Ogunriola. Many thanks for your time, Mr. Gbenga, for being a part of the show this morning. Okay, Mr. Gbenga, I know we have network challenges, but then if you can't hear me, okay, let me start by asking you, okay, are you with us now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let me start by saying congratulations on the coronation of your king, King Charles, from being a prince to becoming the king and as the head of the British royal dynasty. Let me ask you this before we move into our conversation of the day. What is the impact of King Charles' kingship on issues around economic issues, so to say, around the European Union?
You know, every country thrives on is stability. I believe that.
Okay, we're trying to reconnect with Mr. Gbenga Ogunriola, who joins me. All right, let's take a break now while we try to fix that. And when we return, we'll continue the conversation. To stay with us, it's the Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. Many thanks for staying tuned to Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. I still have with me live in the studio, not in the studio, virtually though, finance and investment advisor who joins me now live from the United Kingdom, Gbenga Ogunriola. Mr. Gbenga, if you're still there, let me quickly get your take on the first question I asked you on the impact of King Charles' coronation on the European Union economy.
Yeah, so I was saying that every nation needs a form of sustainability and security to thrive and also to move ahead in its development. And since there's been an easy transition, in the monarchy in the United Kingdom, that gives some level of stability and assurance of continuity, even in the United Kingdom. And of course, the United Kingdom being one of the largest economy in Europe also portends that that gives some level of stability also to the European markets, generally financial markets. So in a way, I think it's just giving us some level of stability, and it portends that all is well. And investors are rest assured that nothing out of the ordinary would happen in the UK. So that gives them some level of confidence in the economy. So generally, we are looking at an issue where there is confidence in the UK economy, and in retrospect to the European economy, based on the level of, based on the stability that we can see in the easy transition in power.
All right, let's shift focus now to the focus of the day. In less than 4 weeks, Mr. Banga will assume office as the new president of the largest development bank in the world amid global economic headwinds. Do you think that this 63-year-old economics is amongst numerous challenges, is fit to take over the reins of the World Bank at this
Yes,
time?
I believe that. Yes, I believe that Mr. Banga has what it takes, to move the World Bank to the next level in its aspirations and vision. The main vision of the World Bank is to ensure sustainability and development, of member countries, and also to ensure that the development and improvement of poor people, within these economies are also, seen to. And that's why you see a lot of World Bank projects that are aimed towards alleviating poverty and, ensuring development in various economies and countries. And so I believe that Mr. Banga has what it takes. If you look at some of his record in MasterCard, where he was a former chief executive officer, you will see that sometimes around 2014, he was said to have set up a sustainable and inclusion unit, whereby the MasterCard was deeply involved with. And even though at that time, the issue of sustainability, environmental development wasn't really in vogue as at that time. And as far back as then, Mr. Banga had, set up this kind of unit in his organization. So that portends that he is somebody that believes in it, and is somebody that would pursue that. Going forward on the question, you would also know that these days you have a lot of talk about environmental sustainability, climate change, and all that. That is the area that the world, especially the developed world, is tilting towards, and trying to ensure that areas where you have a good environmental sustainability, people are encouraged to continue to live in that manner, and areas where they are still yet to achieve that level of environmental sustainability, they are also being encouraged to continue in that, to tilt towards that area. So you discover that the world is changing, and the focus is getting to more of a climate change, environmental sustainability, and all that. And I believe that Mr. Banga would, because of his he will be able to ensure that world.
Okay, so we still have so many issues on the front burner before Mr. Banga, who will be taking over from David Malpass come June the 2nd, 2023. Mr. Banga, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
So you raised some critical issues, and I want us to address them one after the other. I just hope that time will permit us. But let me ask this question. Talking about environmental sustainability, global central banks, climate change funding, green poverty, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, which is a major player, a major focus rather for the World Bank. In what way do you think which of these challenges will be a priority to the incoming president of the World Bank? And which of them do you think is going to tackle head on? Climate change, inflation, which is a monster facing global central banks, and also poverty, high rate of poverty increasing in sub-Saharan Africa. Which of these challenges, amongst others though, will be the top priority of the incoming president?
Sorry, Bill, I didn't hear you too well, but I heard some of the things you said, relating to poverty alleviation in sub-Saharan Africa, which would be the top. I didn't hear the other.
Okay, so I said there are a lot of challenges facing the global economy at the moment, and all of these pose a serious task to the incoming president. We have the climate change funding, we have poverty, we have inflation, which is currently posing a threat, a big challenge to global central banks across the country. Which of these challenges will be a top priority for Mr. Banga to handle head on?
Yeah, so I think the issue of inflation is something that maybe, I mean, it won't really bother so much about, because it's not really something that he has control over or is within his portfolio. But that of alleviation of poverty and also the climate change, like I said earlier, that the world is embracing climate change, and being able to put that in perspective, even as they go about with their projects and other things that they do around the world. I think it would put those two as major priorities, because the World Bank itself was set up to ensure that the poorest of the nations are.
There we go again with the network. So many issues to talk about, so many things to discuss here on the program. And I do hope that Mr. Benga is trying to reconnect with us so we can just buttress all of these issues and see how the incoming president of the World Bank. Okay, Mr. Benga, Alance, you're still with us now.
Yes, I am.
Okay, just go ahead quickly to wrap up your thoughts on this question.
All right. So I believe that Mr. Banga would do more in the area of poverty alleviation and also climate change. And because that is the area that the world is gravitating towards. It will leave the issue of inflation for other central banks and, to deal with, which is something that he can't really, he has nothing to do with currently based on his preview.
Okay, we're running out of time, but I need to ask you this question. It's a very pertinent and dicey one. Let's talk about debt sustainability in Africa. Almost 60% of Africans' low-income countries are either in debt, distress, or at high risk. Currently, Nigerians borrowing from the World Bank has reached $14.34 billion as of March 31st, 2003. How best should the World Bank headsman handle debt distress in the region?
Well, I think there should be a lot of incentives, to these countries that are highly indebted to the World Bank, because many of them are really unable to hold their own, and because of that, they would continue to be in debt. There should be some sort of incentives to help them to be able to help themselves to alleviate poverty in their region.
Okay, the network. When you're dealing with technology, issues like this cannot be avoided. But we hope that while we're trying to reconnect with Mr. Benga, we're trying to send the right signals to people at home there to realize that there are lots of talks ahead of the incoming president of the World Bank. The World Bank is the largest development bank
They continue to be in perpetual debt.
And Mr. Benga is back, so go ahead with your thoughts.
All right. So I was saying that I didn't know that was cut off. I was saying that the World Bank would ensure that most of the advice and the information that they give out to these developed countries, developing countries and economies, are kind of followed to the latter, so that this would help them to stimulate the economy and make them more viable. So I think they should look into that direction of holding this developing economy more accountable to some of the projects, and some of these projects too are conditional, so they ensure that they follow the condition of the project even to the latter. And I believe with that, even though the countries still have a lot of work to do, but I believe that they'll be able to get by even with the current situation.
Okay, Mr. Ogunriola, we really do not have much time. Time is not our friend here, but there is no way we can end this conversation without talking about projections. The global economy outlook seems to be dim at the moment. What is your projection? Do you think that with Mr. Banga assuming office as the head of the World Bank, the global economic outlook will take a positive turn for the year 2023? What's your projection?
Well, I believe that everyone's hand is on deck to ensure that the global economy, is revived and put on the path of recovery once again. The basic things that have happened in the last couple of months or about a year now is the ravaging inflation and the interest rate regime, which most of the central banks have also put in place to combat the inflation, which it seems to be yielding results. The kind of inflation we've had in the last couple of months, we've seen a kind of decline in those inflation rates. And I believe that with the concerted efforts that are being put in place, that we would see a better economic situation before the end of the year. So I believe that generally we are likely to see a more recovered economy by the end of this year globally.
So, Mr. Gbenga, this one final question now is very heavy in my heart, and it has actually raised a lot of concern, not just only for us here in Nigeria, but also from the international community. Nigerians' debt, Nigerians borrowing from the World Bank, $14.34 billion for the first quarter of the year. I'm worried, I'm really concerned. Do you think with these skyrocketing figures, the World Bank will still be willing to give Nigerians loan? And if the answer is yes, do we have what it takes to repay these loans? Especially as we look at, as we count down to the inauguration of an incoming government.
Yes, Nigeria is an integral part of the world economy and Africa economy generally. And despite the huge debt profile that we have, we'll still continue to attract World Bank projects and World Bank loans. It's just that I believe that what will happen is that we'll see more accountability and more scrutiny based on the project that will be coming in, even to our economy generally in Nigeria. And I want to also believe that the World Bank will hold the government more accountable to some of the projects that they have also implemented in the past. And going forward, getting new projects too will be based on.
Okay, the network there again. And I would love Mr. Gbenga to give us his final thoughts on this, but unfortunately, time will not permit. If you can hear me, Mr. Gbenga Ogunriola, I'd like to say a big thank you for taking our time from your busy schedule to be a part of this conversation. Gbenga Ogunriola is a finance and investment advisor who joins us live from the United Kingdom. And still to come on the program, crude oil prices recorded gains today as fears of a recession in the US, which drove prices down, started receding. We'll bring you more details after the break. To stay with us, it's Business Breakfast on iBrandTV.